And welcome to the Throwback Guitar Lounge podcast, episode 18. I'm here with my trusty sidekick, John Gundry. I'm your new host,
Matthew Unleashed.
I'm Unleashed again. Matthew Quayle, welcome. The guitar argument today.
Last week we had a new side of you, Matthew.
I know.
The people saw the caffeine altered.
The caffeine induced. I should mention. Well, first of all, the guitar argument is going to be an interesting one today. It's guitar intonation is overrated.
Is it a waste of time? Should you? I wrote it down here.
Just get on with
Stop
playing.
wasting time on intonation and focus on tone. That's the argument.
And we're going to debate that for 5 minutes a little bit later in the show. I should mention, I don't know if you're wearing them today, but I wanted to say that maybe today's show should be brought to you by black high compression socks.
Okay, you turned me on to those.
I'm wearing mine today.
I actually am too.
Oh yeah, well there you go. You can't see them, but they're on. If I ever,
I bet a good portion of our audience could use them too.
Well, we should make our pitch. If I ever wear them with a pair of shorts and running shoes in the summer, my kids are mortified.
Yeah.
I was literally told I was going to come to my youngest daughter's school, and she said, if you wear those socks with shorts, I can't be seen with you.
Well, maybe if people see us in NAMM and we've come off the plane,
yeah,
you'll put those right on, won't you?
Oh, I'd have
walk
them on.
Around in shorts.
Well, yes, I would.
Yeah,
because I'd have them on in the
so
plane.
if you see Matthew at NAMM with those, you just take a picture.
You'll see a celebrity.
Yeah,
Known by hundreds.
Okay, so is there more to this intro, Matthew, or
No,
does that do it?
I think we covered that.
Okay. So we're going to get right into the show.
But I will say, stay tuned for my musings. I'm on to something. I think.
You've thought a lot about this. It's the musings of Matthews this week, and perhaps for the weeks and months ahead.
This is going to be a big one.
Are very in depth,
Yep.
thought out.
Yep.
Important to the guitar world.
They could be.
Like in a way that nothing else has been at this point.
I think it could be like our unboxing of the Lisona Winder. This could be one of the biggest guitar innovations probably in the last 50 or 100 years.
You're probably right.
So stay tuned for that.
We'll talk about that later. You'll talk about that later in the guitar argument. Okay, so we're going to go right into the throwback mailbox. And again, the show here we've got the throwback mailbox. These are questions that we get emailed to us sometimes in the chat or the comments of the YouTube comments, and if we feel it's relevant, we will address it. And this one is this from today?
This is a fresh one. This is from we're broadcasting this on September.
It's from this week.
It's from this is from the September 3rd.
Yeah, this isn't is strictly live. We record this live, but this is not. We'll upload it. But go on, Matthew.
So this is a fresh one. This one came in emailed on September 3rd at 11:17 p.m. So this is a frustrated owner of a 2024 Gibson 1957 reissue Black Beauty,
which has 3 pickups.
Right.
Yes.
The 3 custom buckers with Alnico 3s originally.
Yes, and read on.
So I'll read on. I'm just going to read it from his point of view. I decided to swap the bridge magnet out for an Alnico 5, and I had one from a DiMarzio pickup that I used because it was a little bit hotter. It worked and sounds pretty good, but the problem is now that the bridge and middle position sound completely wrong and very low output. Do I need a special A5 magnet for the bridge in order to maintain how the polarity phase relationship with the middle pickup originally worked?
Okay.
I made sure to put the magnet in the same direction that the original was in, and I've done plenty of magnet swaps in the past without issue. But the wiring and pickup polarity for 3 pickup Gibsons is a bit esoteric and beyond my understanding. Do you sell specialty charged magnets specifically for the situation, or could I have done something wrong? Thank you.
Okay. Well, the vintage arrangement for a 3 pickup Les Paul Custom would be for the bridge magnet to be flipped so that the middle position, toggle switch position, is the middle pickup and the bridge pickup out of phase. From what he's describing, it sounds like maybe that's what he has going on. There is another possibility. The other possibility is that in switching the magnet, he accidentally killed one of the coils.
Oh.
And if that would also make it sound very thin. So that's a possibility right there as well. So we have made a video, and I'll put it in the links, but it shows how to flip the magnet or change the magnet in a pickup safely. But there are perils involved with this. And the other factor is depending upon what pickup is. So he swapped this out of another pickup.
Right.
The assumption might be that it's going to be a perfect fit for what was currently in his custom bucker. That may or may not be the case. So, because depending upon the pickup model, just because it's a humbucker does not mean it's going to have an 1/8" Alnico bar magnet. Maybe he did. Well, no, he said it was Alnico 5, didn't he? So let's assume that it was the same magnet. Then it's either out of phase, either he put it in, flipped, and maybe it wasn't flipped before, and he didn't think to check that, or he has killed one of the coils in his swapping of the magnets. But those are the two things I would check. It's possible it came from the previous owner or straight from the custom shop without the bridge pickup magnet flipped. Or in that case, it wouldn't have that out of phase sound. Or it's possible that it was flipped and maybe he did it all correctly the way it was supposed to be, but he had inadvertently either cut through the coil tape when the cover came off, because very often you can have a little sort of sharp point of solder when you're taking the cover off, or in switching the magnet, you have to be careful to not either break or pull out one of the pigtail leads from the pickup when you're getting the old magnet out. And when the new magnet goes in, you have to make sure that you are not accidentally wedging a wire between the magnet and the new magnet that's going in the base plate. Because if that happens, then you can ground out one of the coils.
So the easiest thing to do would be to check the polarity.
Have a polarity checker, see if it's out of phase. If it is out of phase with the bridge pickup, that's actually normal. The other would be make sure that you're getting a normal resistance reading out of the pickup. If it's anywhere from 7.5, 8.5K range, then it doesn't sound like you have. That's a normal range.
Right.
You probably have not done anything to damage the coils. If you're getting a reading that's in the neighborhood of half of that, then that's the likely scenario. So, in two, if you are considering switching magnets like that, you don't have to cannibalize another pickup. If you want a very accurate Alnico magnet reproduction for a PAF style pickup, we have on the Throwback website, and we'll put a link in the description, a wide variety of vintage accurate magnets for PAFs and P90s that people can buy who like to experiment with such things.
One thing I'm probably he doesn't say it, but I just wondered when I read DiMarzio in the letter, do you think it was a ceramic magnet?
Well, he said Alnico 5.
He did it. You're right.
So I mean, assuming he's correct about that, but yeah, it's possible it is a ceramic magnet. If he doesn't know the difference, but let's assume that he does, because he knows the model of pickup it came out of.
Yeah, I think he does.
But yeah, that's kind of the possible problem. I can hear Paul taping stuff over there.
Is that what it was?
The possible problem is that you get a ceramic magnet from another pickup that's not the right thickness. Plus, the character of a ceramic magnet is going to be much different from an Alnico magnet if you're comparing the two in the same pickup. Okay, that's it for the mailbox, throwback mailbox. And Matthew, we are going to go on to the player grade vintage. So the first episode we had with the player grade vintage segment was last week, episode 17.
Right.
And people seem to like that. So I'm going to do another one. I'm doing this week instead of the tools and tips. Last week we had an Epiphone Crestwood.
That's right. Yeah, that's nice guitar.
1964 Epiphone Crestwood. This week we're going to have another Epiphone guitar. And I will put this is a 1962 electric Epiphone guitar. I will, when we reveal it, I will tell exactly what the model is. But I would put this guitar in the friends and family category of sort of resources available to the person that's building a player grade collection, right? So this guitar came from our friend Breck. He had this available to sell and offered it for sale to me. It was 2016. I have a picture of this on my phone from 2016. I didn't even realize it was that long.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
But
seems shorter.
These are the sort of opportunities that like come along. People know you play the guitar. There's a guitar somewhere in the family, and potentially the guitar is a hassle. It presents a potential problem to the family that owns it, right? They maybe they just want to make sure someone gets it that likes it. Mm-hmm. They don't want to have to deal with going to Guitar Center or a local music shop and really having no clue as to whether or not they're getting a good price for it.
Or shipping it.
They don't want to go on Reverb or eBay and try to figure out what the price is and how to get the thing transported. But they know, I have a friend who plays guitar. There's a family member that plays guitar. Let's ask him if he's interested in it. This was one of those cases. Mm-hmm. So I bought it for what at the time was a very, very reasonable price, because we kind of like knowing that it was as far back as it was. I'm like, yeah, that was a reasonable price at the time, for probably comparable to what you would get it for at Guitar Center at the time. I'd guess. Okay, so I will do a drum roll here, Matthew, and I will get this player grade vintage guitar. Is there anything you want to say about this before? I don't know that there is much to say. We will. Well,
you'll see, people will. I think this is associated with I think some.
That's right. You thought
celebrities.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here I will get it. Be prepared for player grade vintage guitar now.
Here we go.
Okay, this Matthew, right here. This guitar.
Change your.
Well, I will go to the guitar shop.
Oh, okay.
We'll just kind of like show. This is a Matthew. This is a
Epiphone.
Epiphone. Maker? Well, they call it an Olympic.
Oh, sorry, the Olympic.
It looks just like a Gibson Melody Maker. This is I believe this is 1962. It is sort of the intro beginner grade guitar that Gibson and Epiphone made. The Epiphone and the Gibson version of this are nearly identical. The Gibson one says Melody Maker and has a black pickguard. Mm-hmm. The Olympic, I believe, has a tortoise pickguard, which I think was not on the Gibson Melody Maker, and it does say Epiphone in its own sort of interesting way there. If I put that in front of your face, it'll focus on it,
There
Matthew.
you go.
Is it doing it?
Getting a little light reflection there, I think. There you go.
There we go.
You can see it.
So so you said this is associated with some celebrities.
Well, I know I've read in a magazine article, Billy Gibbons, maybe his was a Gibson Melody Maker, but he was given a guitar like that for, I think it was his first electric guitar for a Christmas gift. And then I got the impression in the article that he didn't have that guitar anymore and he had a custom one made.
Was it double cutaway like this?
I believe it was, yeah. And he had it's very nice pinstriping on it that and then I guess isn't Joan Jett, what is she? Which one is she? associated with?
She uses a Melody Maker that is the next version of this has is double cutaway. I think those come around in 64, but the body shape's a little different.
Is it
it's
different?
a little pointier and more sort of a classic rounded shape. But the Joan Jett one and Pat Travers, I believe, played one that with humbuckers in it that is that same shape. And
Did you see Johnny Winter?
I don't know, does he have one? Johnny Winter had a Wilshire.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking about this guitar.
But they have well, I'll play it in a second here. It has an interesting sort of kind of twangy Telecaster-y sort of tone. Not quite the same. Sounds good.
What do you know about the pickup in this?
Okay, so the pickup in this is a single coil pickup, and I believe there's a couple of versions of this. I think this has the more desirable of them. But an interesting kind of anecdote to this is a friend of Throwback, Larry McRae, called me one day. In fact, I got a picture here of Larry actually in the Throwback Guitar Lounge right there where you're sitting, Matthew.
He's a Michigan native,
Michigan native,
blues giant.
yes, and we opened him for Blues on the Mall, or really was in a parking lot, but yeah, he's friends with Todd Dine of the harmonica player in the blues band that we have, and Todd's from Bay City. Does he live in Saginaw or Bay City?
I believe it's Saginaw, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and
that neck of the woods.
Todd's sat in with him a few times when he's in town, and but anyway, Larry's a really nice guy, and he stopped by when he was in town, and had graced
This very
seat, Matthew,
Where I'm
that you're
sitting.
in, with his presence. So, but anyway, he contacted me. He just called up and he said, "Hey, do you make a Melody Maker pickup? I've got an old Melody Maker, and I just love the tone of this pickup." And we don't make a Melody Maker pickup, but I pointed him to Seymour Duncan because he's the one that I know that like makes a knockoff of the original design, and I think their custom shop makes one that is, I would guess, is pretty darn good.
Pretty accurate.
So, but he was very pleased with the pickup in the Melody Maker. So, I mean, there's guys that really like the sound of these things that are great players. And I will play it in just a minute here. And now I will say here, I'll get another shot of it here. The kind of the potential downside of a guitar like this, if you're getting one. And I kind of forgot about this because it was in the case and I hadn't really looked at it in a bit. But the neck relief on this, and this seems to be a problem with older Gibsons. I think even kind of it's a little bit of a problem today. The further the neck joint is down on the guitar, they off like an ES335 or an SG. Sometimes they can have a problem of having enough back bow without tension on the strings. And this thing is almost got, so the effect is once it's strung up, even with, almost no tension on the truss rod, you basically have a nearly dead straight neck, which is okay if you've got really great fretwork. But from the factory, this has not gotten really any playware to speak of. the factory fretwork isn't great. It's not terrible, but the effect of this is this guitar, it's got a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of relief, but almost none, because it's got, I think it's a symptom of this neck joint being so far down here on a kind of double cut guitar. But I think I can remedy that with by putting heavy strings on it and leaving it for a few years.
Let's do it.
But I've done it once successfully. There's another sort of trick. There's a YouTube video for this trick where you wrap a flexible sort of heat wrap around it, and that combined with heavier tension strings and leaving it strung up like that for months, it did fix a Strat that was problematic. So this may need that treatment, although it's probably, if I level and dress the frets, it'll play just fine, but with very little to no relief. And as per the guitar argument of today about intonation, this has the lightning bolt bridge.
That's not original.
That is original.
That is.
That is original. Yeah. No. So they went to this lightning bolt bridge in an effort to correct intonation, but they did it based upon sort of the intonation idea of the day, which was that you would have a wound G string.
G string.
So this thing does, even though they're attempting to correct the intonation, it doesn't really work that great. And so you kind of have to fudge the G, B, and E strings when you're tuning this to get it to all work well with all of the cowboy cards that you would want to play. Okay, let me hook this up, and we'll play something. Matthew, do you want to play bass?
Sure.
Okay, we'll be right back with that set up. Okay, Matthew, we're back, and I'll play a little bit clean here just so people can get an idea. It's fairly bright sounding. It's got the tone pot, and darkens it up just a little bit. The interesting thing, well, it's just like a Les Paul Jr. also. The tone pot also drops the volume a bit. I think it might do it more with this pickup than it would with the P90. Okay, a little dirt, but you can see it's a bit twangy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this, I'd kind of like to get this closer to the pickup to the strings, but I can't get it I can't get it closer with where the action should be for this. But okay, this is with it a little bit of dirt. There's the intonation. Okay.
Sounds like could be a little fun little.
It's fun to play.
Beginner little guitar if you had
No,
it
yeah.
back in 1962 at Christmas or something.
Yeah, it's a nice retro sound. It's kind of unique too. It's not quite a Telecaster. It's not as it's a little fatter sounding.
What's the output of the pickup?
You know, I should know, but I don't. I don't remember, and I didn't measure before the show.
And then
It sounds sort of garage bandy.
yeah, oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. And then under that cover, what is it? Are they pole magnets?
Yeah, it's an Alnico rod magnet pickup under there. I'm pretty sure. I'm nearly positive. I've never repaired one of these, but I'm nearly positive that's what's going on. Okay, let's put these away, Matthew.
Alrighty.
And let's see. Let's get back to us. And should I say anything more about the Epiphone Olympic? I would say if you're going to get these, get one of the. I think the previous version of this has a single cutaway, and I think those are actually highly desirable at this point.
Same style pickup. But
Yes, same style pickup. You know, you can get these two with two pickups and two volume, two tone. Gibson's the Melody Maker. This is the Olympic. And these go from this to the sort of Joan Jett style Pat Travers, and then to an SG sort of pointy, SG standard body.
but with a single P90, that
Well,
one?
you can get those with a single and a double too, I think.
Oh, really?
Okay.
And then what
Something to look for.
did you check one of those out? Did you look online? Are those things available right now?
Yeah, they have one at Guitar Center. I think they want like, did they want like $1,500 for it?
Really?
Yeah, I guess you should say what the price is, but I got this for I believe $900 9 years ago, and that was a very fair price for it. And it has I got the original case, but the original case is a pretty ratty chipboard case.
It's just your basic
So it's
student
pretty,
case.
yeah, and it's pretty well toast. But, and I prefer this, and then the one the model Joan Jett has, and then the single cut one. I'm not a big fan of the SG ones, but maybe you are. But I think the SG era ones are a little cheaper. And the advantage of this one is through like 64, they're going to have the wider nut if that's a thing that you prefer. I also suspect that you're very often going to find these with not a lot of playware.
Do you think people got them and
I think, yeah.
put them away under the bed?
Yeah, either put them away or maybe they kind of played it maybe as a toy for quite a while or expensive toy, but the effect this wouldn't be it would be unusual for this to be the guitar that a serious player would use for years and years and years. Now, Joan Jett and obviously Pat Travers are exceptions to this, but I think the fact that it was an entry-level guitar plus there were so many of these made means that you can find these in pretty decent shape pretty easily. Okay,
Already.
let's put these away and we will go on to the next segment. Okay, we're back, Matthew. We are going on to the guitar argument.
The best part of the show.
Let's remind the viewers the guitar argument here is intonation is a waste of time.
Some might say that. Some may disagree.
Is it necessary? Is this just a distraction that people, focus on as a distraction away from improving one's tone? Or is this really essential to the great guitar tone intonation? Because this is some people will be very, very particular about the intonation of their guitar. And so we need to know, are they should they stop wasting their time on an intonation and focus on tone? Or are they Are they correct that intonation is the beginning of great tone?
Yes.
And without it, you've not even begun to achieve tone, good tone, great tone. Okay, so as I take it from this, you are going to defend the virtues of intonation.
I will.
And
That's a hill I will die on.
I will take
Roll up my sleeves.
I will argue that intonation is a waste of time.
Alriady.
Maybe
of
not
time.
a waste of time. It's overrated.
What? Next week we're going
I mean, like, you can have a good intonation, but it's. Are you really noticing it that much? Like, if you're playing a guitar that you enjoy and has good tone, aside from intonation, is anyone really? Do you even really notice as a player? And after this, we are going to test it out. I've got two identical guitars here, one that is well intonated and one that isn't. And Matthew, you don't know which is which.
No, I do not. That is true.
You are going to decide which one is well intonated.
Okay.
And the viewers can too. Before we get in the cool down section of this guitar argument, we'll find out for once and for all, is intonation overrated, or is it the pinnacle of great guitar tone? Okay, Matthew, are you going to start the?
I'll start
the guitar argument with how intonation is a must for all serious guitar players.
Okay,
ready, set,
ready.
go.
Go. Okay, intonation is not overrated. It is essential for any competent, knowledgeable, tasteful guitar player.
Tasteful
to be able to understand and to know their guitar is intonated properly, so they can play right up the entire length of the neck and not worry about chords being disjointed and all the funky chords sounding weird. And
chords sounding weird.
well, these little jazz chords.
Do you think Blackbird by Paul McCartney is funky chords sounding weird?
Well, it could be simple chords too, but the
or
main,
yesterday is that funky chord sounding weird?
If you're sitting alone playing in your room, maybe intonation doesn't really matter. But if you're playing with other musicians,
like the Beatles,
but instruments that have fixed tunings, so like keyboards and horns and things. You want that guitar.
The Beatles had no orchestration ever, did they?
Well, you're saying their guitars, the Beatles guitars, were not intonated?
Well, you have Paul McCartney. He's a left-handed player, and he played a left-handed Epiphone Texan. He played not a left-handed, a right-handed Epiphone Texan flipped upside down. He played that on yesterday. And then he played Blackbird with a Martin that I believe was flipped upside down. I'd have to look at the videos, so maybe that is left-handed. I don't know. But I mean, he played his Epiphone Casino was a right-handed guitar flipped upside down without, I'm sure they adjusted as best they could the intonation. And there's even pictures of him in the studio playing a Telecaster, a right-handed Telecaster upside down.
And so, but on the acoustic guitars, they didn't change anything with the bridge or anything?
Although I guess the Telecaster, you could intonate that properly. But no, you can see keep with your argument, though. It's your time to shine with this.
So we're going to test this on electric guitars, but electric guitars, like the Fender Stratocaster, has compensated saddles. So why not use those? Why not?
Well, sure, you could use them. Yeah, I'm not saying you can't use them. I'm just saying that the necessity of having them for great tone is overrated.
Okay, well, I'll let you take this for a second. Turn? I think it's your turn. You should.
I think that we can before Leo Fender and Buddy Holly, no one really cared about good intonation in the electric guitar realm or the acoustic guitar. They kind of had an idea, it needs to be in this ballpark. But and they had, these sort of compensated bridges for some jazz guitars where there had maybe an ebony or rosewood bridge. It was, got you closer to good intonation, but there wasn't this obsessive focus on perfect intonation up and down the neck. By its nature, the scale length is imperfect, so it's a misnomer that you're going to have perfect intonation on every fret anyway. So, but with the Stratocaster with individual adjustable saddles, now it became a thing that you must have perfect intonation. And you can hear it in Buddy Holly songs. He had one of the early Stratocasters, and he plays high up the neck I think there's a Bo Diddley song he plays, and so it's well intonated. But now everybody has to have it. Everybody's just so focused on it. Where is so you have Paul McCartney playing an Epiphone Casino with a bridge that is a slanted right-handed bridge on a right-handed guitar flipped upside down. Do we care that his intonation isn't perfect? He takes guitar solos with this guitar. He plays all sorts of these iconic Beatles tones with orchestration without. Have Paul McCartney playing a guitar that's right-handed upside down.
Maybe the intonation, we can blame that on inattentive studio engineers who decided, no, it doesn't sound right. We need to everything, and then they just could stop, intonate everything, and just run up the studio bill.
Okay, that you maybe you've gotten it right there. The studio bill.
Yeah,
it all comes down to the studio bill. Okay, so and again, we're playing roles here. I am not faulting anyone for their good intonation. Although I must say, for years I was in the camp that intonation is overrated. Actually, I still am. But I do think a well-intonated guitar, you do notice this is a little easier to play maybe. But if you're playing a poorly intonated guitar, you can fudge it with how you tune it. It seems to always be on the I won't say what strings seem to be the problematic ones until we in the cool down actually play some of these. But did you have more? What is your opinion of intonation, Matthew?
I don't have a solid opinion about it. I just find that when you do move up the neck, and then I was getting a little bit more advanced, and I could do some of this stuff, that it was like, oh, that doesn't sound right when you're playing higher up the neck, and then you check, and it was like, okay, the intonation is off. So if I adjust it, it's going to sound a little better.
And I think the truth, though, is if you have a guitar that's poorly intonated, you can fudge how it's tuned to get it in a spot where for that song or even for everything you're playing, it's acceptable. But you will hear studio musicians they're hyper focused on it, and I would assume you're right. It's because they're hyper focused on it because they don't want to have a problem with an engineer or a producer saying, "Hey, you're out of tune," right?
They don't get a call back.
Yeah, they don't get a call back. So it's a real sort of job risk for them if they're not well intonated. But I would say that this is kind of a characteristic of modern studio music, is that it's so polished that this is one of those things that maybe a little less perfect intonation would give it, just make it
more soulful.
Maybe, yes, more soulful. I don't know if that's the right term. I mean, we're talking about this as if we ever made a record, but
you haven't, John?
No. I did record the intro.
You recorded, but you haven't. You haven't spent a lot of time in Nashville or LA studios.
No.
Maybe in a past life.
But actually, the guitar I did that with, I don't know, it's got one of those. It's a 64 SG with one of those tipping bridges, and the problem with that is if you touch the vibrola on it, it's anybody's guess as to whether or not the bridge comes to zero back out where the best intonation is. So, but yeah, I mean, there is something, and I've heard other, I'm not the only one that has noticed this or said anything about it. Older, the part of the charm of sort of early rock and blues, early rock and electric blues is the
Imperfections,
raw nature of it.
Yeah.
And part of that is the intonation, I think. That's a key component of it. And two,
they were pushing levels.
yeah. Yeah. Also, and we kind of, when you think about it, if there's a little bit of separation with the intonation between instruments, that kind of does translate into a little separation sonically between the different instruments, as long as it's not offensive. But you get studio musicians that are so hyper attuned to intonation and pitch because they have to be. It becomes a problem. Okay, for them, but I maintain that that you can have great tone without great intonation. Okay, so I'm going to get some guitars here. One, Matthew, well intonated, the other not. Two Stratocasters.
I've got to figure it out.
Yeah, you will figure it out. Should we just have you figure out by strumming here and doing some notes what you think?
Okay, that might be very fun. Try
Okay, all right. Well, maybe let's get them right now. Let's. I'll do a drum roll. Okay, these are. Matthew, I'll get a chord for you here. I think I've got one right here. You can plug that in. I'll plug mine in. What we have here is two American Vintage Reissue Stratocasters. I think the one I've got is from 1985. The one you have is from 86. 1986. 57 reissue Stratocasters. I mean, they're not going to sound identical. But, I mean, same bridge. Same deal. Yeah, let's clean here. Let's okay, Matthew, you want to well let's, for the viewing audience and listeners, we will I will play some. That's one guitar, a G, a D, and a C. Listen for intonation. Okay, Matthew, your turn. Okay, that's the yours is a little brighter.
Everything's up.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, I'm in the middle. Pick up there. So this is one guitar.
That's the 85.
Audience is
That's the 85.
This is the 85 bridge pickup Stratocaster, 57 reissue. All right, Matthew, your turn. Okay, let's. Should we play something further up the neck here? You want? Why don't you, Matthew? You pick something. I'll try to mimic it. Okay, that's Matthew. Okay, let's so do a little sort of A bar chord there. Okay, that's the A bar chord on the 5th fret. That's Matthew. Okay, I'll play something there too. Okay, Matthew, play something up above the 12th fret.
Up over here.
Okay, I will play something. Okay, do you want to switch guitars here, Matthew?
Sure.
Okay, so Matthew, you have the 86. I have the 85. And do you have an opinion yet of intonation? Okay, well, let's just before we go on any further with this.
I'm about halfway there, I think.
You have an opinion on.
I think it's not quite fully formed, but I'm leaning.
Do you think there's a shocking difference yet?
No, I don't think it's shocking.
You should now. So if there is a important difference, I think you would have to feel it right away. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
One way or the other.
Yeah, so I'm curious about changing.
All right. All right. We're going to switch them now. So, Matthew, you now have the 85, and I have the 86. Okay. So now, Matthew, let's just let you play since I know the differences between these. I'm going to let you. Well, let's let you.
Okay.
Run through the everything. That's Matthew playing.
Maybe you want to change that.
Oh, well, yes, I'll switch to the requisite guitar shot here. Have you formed an opinion yet, Matthew? Now, don't say it.
All right. Yes, I have. I have formed an opinion.
You have this is a strong opinion, or is this a?
No, I think it's a strong opinion.
It's a strong opinion. Okay. Should I play? I'll play something. Can I? I'll play something with both guitars here.
All right.
And then hold on. I've unhooked my headphones, Matthew. Hold on.
Oh dear.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, so I will play something with a little dirt here for both of them, and then we'll Well, maybe that'll help out the audience here. Hold on. Wait, no, that's a there it is. Okay, that's one guitar.
That's
This is the 86. I'm going to take the guitar you just had, which is the 85, Matthew, and I will play the same thing. We will see. This is runs the neck from low to high, and we'll see. Oh, so hold on. Okay, so
Now I'm in turmoil now.
okay, let's go back, Matthew. I want to know. So, is it time to reveal which? Let's put the guitar up here. We'll reveal. So, this is the 85, and that is the 86. What is your opinion here? This is the last one you played. It was the 85. So let's. And I just played the 85. What do you have? What's your opinion? Which guitar is well intonated and which one isn't?
What was the last one that I played? Was it this one?
No, it was this one, the 85, the one I just played. So you're not having a hard. This is the last one you played, the one I'm holding.
Okay, before you played the little country run, I thought this one was the one that was not intonated.
It was not intonated. Okay.
Then after you played that little country run, then I began to think this one's intonated. But I think I found when I was playing it that this one, I believe, higher up, it just was sounded a little better above the 12th fret.
Okay. So the one you thought, so your opinion was the 86, which is one you're holding now, was intonated, and that the one I'm holding, the 85, was not intonated.
It's not.
You were wrong. This is the 85 is the intonated one, and the 86 that you're holding now is one that's not. And
how far off is it?
Okay, so this is I think this is sort of a key. I think that the lower 3 and 4 strings don't matter. I think if you have like 2 of the high three high strings well into, pretty close, you can get away with a lot of bad intonation. So the E and the B on that are pretty close to correct. But I didn't intentionally throw that thing out of
Right.
So that guitar, the 86 there, I purchased used recently, and it still has the strings that came on it. When I got it, the tremolo was decked. I undecked the tremolo because I prefer it without a decked tremolo. Mm-hmm. And then I left the same strings on it, and I never touched it. So I checked it before the show, and it's poorly intonated. This one I checked before the show, and all but the low E were right, spot on, perfect. The low E I had to change a little bit, but I had intonated this, long ago, and I guess just didn't do quite with a different tuner, but the tuner I used for this is a little more accurate. So I don't playing it. I don't feel like I have to really tweak one or the other, tweak the one that's poorly intonated to make it sound right. Now, I will say that the Epiphone, though, it's a balancing act with the G, B, and E strings. you have to kind of like, and it's the same if you have like a Gibson acoustic, like a J45 or J50. The bridge is so angled that to get it well intonated, or like to get it to work, you really have to kind of work with those. Even the D sometimes you have to try it with like a open G, C, and D and E to see like where there's a sweet spot where it all sounds acceptably good. And it's kind of that way with the Epiphone. But I think that if you get two out of three of the unwound strings pretty close to each other, there's a lot of acceptable poor intonation for the rest of it.
The B string, I think they say is you have to get that one right. I think they say that can be a stickler. Throws everything off.
So, but that overall, that thing's very poorly intonated. But okay, was that a fair comparison? You think, or
I was siding with it. It felt fine.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the intonation debate there.
So that's there's room for a lot of difference there.
I think there's.
It's not like it's an open shut case, really.
Yeah, it's like I think you can. I think it's very easy to obsess on good intonation, and think that somehow it's like really affecting the playability of the guitar. Whereas I think even really poorly intonated, you can fudge the tuning to work, and you don't really notice it if you're just playing. But that's my opinion. Okay, all right. Let's go. Let's put these away, and then we'll go on to the next segment. All right, Matthew, we're back. We're doing the Rorschach riffs. You're taking a different approach this week.
I've decided to do this on the acoustic guitar.
You were Rorschach riffing, doing your Rorschach riffage on a acoustic guitar here. You have a.
This is a Heritage.
Tell us about the guitar.
It's a Heritage. What did you call it? Was it HGJ?
HFT?
HFT.
445?
445. I guess it's kind of their version of a
445 Nat, so that's natural, I assume.
A J45. But it has I believe it's got a maple neck, and it's got
it's got a little stinger on it.
It's got
too.
a stinger on it. You can see that there.
I'm surprised I don't remember that. This was once my guitar, and I sold it to you.
It's a maple neck, and I think it's a leftover jazz neck.
Really?
That's what I think.
Huh.
Because if you look at their jazz guitars, it kind of looks like a maple neck.
Yeah.
And it's kind of thin. It's not huge. Not as fat as an acoustic guitar neck up there.
Yeah, it's a nice guitar. It has a little DeArmond pickup in here that we tried to hook up, but it was not cooperating for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so Matthew will do 4 riffs. Mm-hmm. Acoustic. Now these are going to. I assume these are from acoustic songs. If you have an acoustic guitar,
yes, you can narrow it down.
We now have to identify the 4 songs. I've got my little post-it notepad here. We'll have to identify the 4 songs of his Rorschach riffs, mm-hmm. and these songs will be evident in your riffage, Matthew.
Right.
And we'll repeat it so that I and the audience can hopefully get all these. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Rorschach riff when ready.
All right, here we go.
Place the mic so we can hear you. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Oh, it sounds good. Oh my gosh. Okay, well the first one's obvious. Okay. Okay, go again. I'm going to have to need that.
Do you want a little bit more on any of them?
No, just do it all again because I think I'm going to have a hard time with this. Go ahead. There's definitely 4 in there?
There's 4.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
I can give you a little more.
Okay,
if you need a little
hold on. I think I may have number 2.
One of them. I gave you a little more.
Are you playing these correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
The second one was a bit funky this time because my fingering was
okay.
a little off. But I gave you a little extra on the second one
Oh, okay.
to give you a little.
Okay. Well, do it again.
You want a little more?
Sure. Yeah, a little. Well, no, do it one more time. I mean, move the other just because I need more doesn't mean everybody else does. So,
Okay,
one
here
more
we go.
time without the extras. Let's see. Now is one of these songs one of the originally an electric song that has been acoustified from MTV?
Yes.
Ah, that's a little cheating. Okay, so then I think I know 3. Let's hear it one more time.
Do you want any extra little bits with any of them?
Well, hold on. I'm remembering what one of these is. I got to play it in my head. What is the name of the song? Okay, could you do it again? Maybe it'll come to me.
Nah.
Okay. Okay, so give us more, but I think I know the last one. I know the band for the last one. I'm just drawing a blank on the
Now the first one I don't have to do again. Do
No.
Okay.
Everybody knows that.
Do
Well,
the
do
second-
it. It may not. Do them all. Do this. Do the second one. Sure. Again, because I'm not.
Okay, I'll do the second one. And I'll give you a little. Shall I do the first one or just skip that one? and
Skip
go-
that. Everybody knows that.
Okay, so we're going to the second one. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought it was. Yeah. Okay.
Then the second one, the third one.
Yes. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. That's the MTV. Yeah. Okay.
You know this, right?
Yeah. I'm trying the name. Yeah. I'm trying to blank on the name. Yeah. What is the name of the? What is the? Okay. So I'll tell you. I got. Don't play anymore. Let me.
Someone who had an intimate knowledge of David Bowie.
That's David Bowie?
No,
No. Okay.
but it was named for his wife apparently. That's a rumor I heard.
Huh. Oh, the second one.
No, the last one.
The last one? Oh. Maybe I don't know what the song is. Okay, well, I'll give you my okay, everybody, I will reveal what potentially could be wrong choices here. Okay, Matthew, play it one more time for everybody, and maybe I'll just go ahead. Keep playing that. Yeah.
I can't remember the next chord. That's not
Okay.
the-
Okay. So the first one is "Stairway to Heaven" by Led Zeppelin.
What? No, it's not.
Of course it is. Second one is it Maggie May? Maggie, is that the right? By
Okay, I'll do a little bit more for you.
do I have that wrong?
That's wrong.
Oh no!
Yeah. Old in the Nazareth. There's a feeling
Okay. I don't know that intro. I thought that was Maggie May.
That's the weight.
Oh, I didn't. Okay. Oh, failed there. Okay, second one's Layla from the Unplugged MTV, Eric Clapton.
That's where he said. That's where I just gave that little bit. He says at the beginning of that record, see how many of you can get this with just this little bit. He goes, and
Yeah.
then everybody goes, ah.
Yeah. Okay. The third one is a Pink Floyd song that I'm drawing a blank on.
No.
It's not a Pink Floyd song.
Mid-70s Rolling Stones.
Oh.
I can't remember the next darn chord.
It's not Wild Horses.
No.
It's
Black and Blue album.
huh.
David Bowie's wife. I think it was named for her.
Angie?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, these aren't.
I thought these were too simple.
Shoot, I only got two or four.
I thought you were going to
Let's see how everybody else does.
I thought you were going
That-
I thought the last one, that's too easy.
It did mix it up because maybe it's easier to identify if it's like these are acoustic riffs, right? So they're chordal in nature more than an electric riff. So
Right.
maybe that makes it a little tougher.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just terrible at this. It
Well,
could
maybe
be that too.
maybe it's my playing. I'm getting my fingers jammed up there.
I swear that the second one was Maggie. Is it Maggie or Maggie made the name of the song?
I think you're Maggie May, but
Okay, well, that's a Rorschach riff fail for me.
I have to get back
All
to
right.
listening to more of
Okay,
your
well, Matthew,
classic rock.
we have the last segment of the show is your musical musings.
Okay, and I promised
And
everyone at the
this
beginning.
people may be waiting for this.
I think if people have hung around for this, it's worth your time because people out there have an opportunity to become involved in this.
This has a global impact. This is this in guitar terms. There are a few things as global as what you have come up with.
We're about to unveil. So this is actually big news. So, and I was trying to think. We talked about this just in the office here last week, and we're bouncing this around. And I was trying to think, where did they get the impetus?
He was thinking
for
like,
this?
no. It started with how can I get people to send me free guitars?
Well, that too. That's all important. We're always interested in.
You figured
free
it
gear.
out. Actually, I must say, I had a role in the concept.
Absolutely.
And are you going to reveal it, or should I say give the kernel of the idea, so to speak?
Not yet. Let me tell you. I began thinking during the week. I said, I wonder where that came from. So I think it may have come from this.
Okay, well, you haven't revealed what it is, though.
No.
Okay.
No. But Steve Miller, the artist, Steve Miller
Yes.
Band, was due to do a late summer fall tour
Yes.
to 2025. And then I was thinking, he usually comes around the Midwest. So I think, I wonder if he's going to be coming around. So I checked his website sometime in August, and he said, it was a letter, and it said, Dear Steve Miller fans, the Steve Miller Band has canceled all upcoming tour dates. The combination of extreme heat, unpredictable flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes, massive forest fires make these risks for you, our audience, the band, and crew unacceptable.
But no one said anything about the guitars.
Exactly.
They're talking about the band, they talk about the crew, but they don't talk about the guitars. And what is the most? If you had the Steve Miller Band without a guitar, what would you have?
You'd have a buckster.
You'd have nothing.
A bus. What do you call a buckster? Someone
You would have no
strumming on the side of the street.
You would have You would have
Nothing.
no guitars. You have no Steve Miller Band sound.
No, you just
You
have
just have this sort of like weird synthesizer sound to fly like an eagle. That's it, right?
so you need that stuff.
And some drums, no bass.
So we thought, well, what if there was a global repository for all things vintage amps, vintage guitars?
A guitar global depository in case to protect these all important items from the global climate catastrophe of which Mr. Steve Miller talks in this
Right.
of.
So we thought about, well, isn't there some place where they have there's a global seed bank, these Svalbard global seed
Yes,
bank.
we have a picture of that, don't we?
Yeah,
Matthew?
somewhere here.
Right there.
People might know about this.
It's a shipping container stuck into the side of a mountain full of seeds.
This is on Spitsbergen, an island in Norway.
And why isn't there one of these for guitars?
That's what we're looking for. So we want to create a global.
You've made this your mission.
It's now my new mission. That's the reason I get up in the morning.
You were going to have the go on with it. What is this thing going to be called?
This thing is going to. I'm going to unveil the name now. The thing is going. Put that picture back up though, because it's good to see.
Okay.
That it's going to be called the Guitark.
Just like Noah, as if Noah played the electric guitar or guitars, he would have made it two. He would want two of everything.
Exactly.
Two of every guitar to preserve for time immemorial in case of
What we're going to work on,
unthinkable disaster.
and we're going to work on it, is a main site and then a secondary site. So we're looking
Secondary site.
Secondary
Is
sites.
that when your home?
No, that wouldn't be my home. No.
Well, I can have it in my house.
No. This is serious. We're going to have these. We're working on. We're working with some top-notch architects.
You have the best minds available to humanity right now working on this.
No, they seriously. They take it seriously, and they get back to you quickly. I give them ideas.
And it's just like it's a chat.
It's like a chat.
Yes,
But I thought the name was organic, and we came out with the name to bouncing things
Guitark.
off.
Okay.
It's Guitark. It's like guitar argument. It's GUIT capital ARK. So it's
Okay.
Guitark.
And we got it. Yes. So the idea. So how do you grow the guitar? Is the question though, Matthew.
Well, the first thing we want is a 1950 broadcaster, and we want a Nocaster.
Sure.
We
sure.
want a
No, we need two of them.
well, we need two of them,
That's
and
right.
then we need probably all the Fender.
You're gonna start with the broadcaster and the Nocaster because this is the beginning of the electric sort of Spanish style guitar.
right, the one that started.
That's logical.
and
all
then
right.
we need
You're putting a call out there for two of those sent here.
and then a 58, 59, and 60 Les Paul
Standard.
standard.
Okay. Are you particular about the flame or whether or not it's gold top?
Well,
Well, you don't leave out the 57. That has to be a gold top.
but people have to
Well, you
understand.
already started somewhere.
Well, people have to understand too that we won't own this.
Okay.
This is a depository. It's a global depository, so that the
Okay.
ownership is all going to be above board. There's going to be no funny business here. All the ownership will remain with the true owner.
Okay.
And then we're dealing
Guitark.
on the Guitark, exactly.
Okay.
So we're going to maintain and
Is there
protect these items for future generations.
Okay, is there any? You've got a lot of details about this. Can you just tease some of these? I mean, you've gone as far as you've got information about redundant systems. You've got information about humidity control. I don't want to spoil it, but
No.
There's details abundant.
It is way too many details just to go through now. But I will provide you with our global mission, if
Okay,
that,
sure.
and goal. So it is to provide a neutral, ultra secure, climate stable, last resort repository for the world's most important vintage instruments and tone equipment.
Well, specifically guitar.
Guitars.
We don't have any room for bagpipes.
No, we're not. That's somebody.
That would be AC/DC has to take care of that.
There's
one.
another repository for that in Scotland. But,
Okay.
so then ensuring future restoration, study, and cultural continuity after theft, disaster, decay, and geopolitical disruption.
Okay.
So we're preparing for all.
I mean, not
Eventualities.
okay. Not okay.
No, it's not
but
okay.
It's not okay. This is hopefully it'll be okay after that because we got the guitar.
We got the Guitark. Everything's gonna be okay. So we'll bring in.
Also, think about it. What's the state of vintage guitars right now? The most desirable instruments. Where are they right now?
They're probably in California.
They're in a fire zone,
It's
right?
not very smart.
We can do better, can't we? I mean, you've got Norm's Rare Guitars. He's got a lot of nice guitars. I gotta assume they're like warehoused.
Their warehouse in right in the middle of
Supposedly
a fire
Billy
zone.
Gibson or Billy Gibbons has like a big, haul of guitars, and what's happening with those?
Well, you mentioned Billy Gibbons is interesting.
Don't the Rolling Stones have like warehouses around the world full of stuff? They must.
I assume they do. They probably have an American office and
Now they just
European
need
office.
someone like you
with the vision.
with with the vision to preserve for humanity what's just sitting there.
Because this stuff could be just gone tomorrow.
Could be.
When you said Billy Gibbons is interesting, because when I got his coffee table book, it appears in that book. I can't remember the name of it, but I could bring it in next week and maybe we could see the downside of not having a guitar vault or guitark.
Get this term
get
right.
that term right. His warehouse appears to be in that book appears to be in Houston, because some of those guitars are in rough shape, and they had I don't think the place was air conditioned.
Oh, in Houston? Not air conditioned?
Well, he was opening up cases and showing some pictures, and everything was kind of rusty and tarnished.
Yeah.
So it made me wonder. It's like, is this stuff? You would assume, it's Billy Gibbons. He's got, state of the art storage facilities, but it didn't appear in the pictures that things were being handled properly.
It needs someone with a vision.
Mm-hmm.
And have you read? Have you read the whole full mission statement?
I read the mission statement, but
Okay.
But the idea is that we would have the depositors would remain and retain ownership, and the vault staff that worked there couldn't open them.
What?
And but the executive would hit.
How do you know they're there if you don't open them? Huh?
You have to maintain the integrity of the guitar. Otherwise, it just turns into a giant guitar center in the ground somewhere.
Okay. All right.
But let me just say this to our viewers, and I'll put out the call now. So we are looking for, if you have a broadcaster, no-caster, 58, 59, 60 Les Paul. Those are our starting
point
that we're just looking for.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't get those, we'll get something, right?
And I also thought maybe Throwback would like, maybe the viewers would like to sponsor Throwback. We could put in a set of all our pickups in the guitar
Okay.
for future generations.
No, we'll just take out the pickups in those guitars and put in Throwback and keep those pickups in those guitars for safekeeping in a different location.
You're
I'm polluting the
You're polluting
concept
my
of the
guitar.
of the guitar. Okay. All right.
But listen, we're hoping we'll get some donations, and in future episodes, I can give you updates because we're dealing with we're looking for locations right now. We're dealing with architectural drawings. We're looking at getting some of those. So this is a work in progress. So
Okay.
we'll keep people updated.
Okay. All right. Okay, Matthew. The guitar. I'm intrigued and I'm slightly alarmed, but why not?
Yeah.
Why not a guitar? Everybody deserves a guitar. It won't be for you. It won't be for me. It'll be for everybody.
everyone. So it'll be your legacy.
Well, you're in charge of the guitar right now. It's
know.
be your legacy, man.
I know. It's one thing you can pass along. You have everybody has, because everyone who owns some of these vintage instruments, they do realize that they're just caretaking.
That's right. But they're caretaking for what?
for the
Not
next,
for any bigger purpose. They're caretaking, thinking that the person after me is going to respect this as I did.
right.
But the guitar,
Guitar's going to protect them.
the guitar is there.
We're going to have two of everything, as they say. 2 by 2. They're going to
2
come
by
on
2.
into the guitar.
Wow. I think we'll talk about this next week.
I'll have some more details.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching.
Have a good
Guitar.
weekend.